to the general. So this article covers all clearances, including the climbing space involving overhead supply and communication lines. So these clearances are required for all permanent and temporary installation. So kahit pa yung ating installation ng ating mga communication or supply lines is temporary, so the provisions, the clearances given by this article must always be followed, regardless if it is temporary or it is permanent. Okay, so if you have an emergency installation, ito, so open supply conductors of 0 to 750 volts and supply cables and communication conductors and cables, including the guys, the messenger wires, and the neutral conductor shall not be less than, so yung mga measure. First, you have 4.8 meters above areas where trucks are expected. No? So, for example, if may i-install tayo na linya for emergency purposes, no? So, kailangan na nating lagyan ng power, no? ang isang building, no? For an emergency purposes. So, if that is an open supply conductor, na yung rating niya is 0 to 750 volts. So, if may part ng ating wire, may part ng ating conductor na dadaan sa road, no, na may mga truck, may dadaan ng mga truck. So, dapat yung ating clearance from the surface of the road must be 4.8 meters. So 2.7 above areas limited to pedestrian and restricted traffic only where vehicles are not expected during emergency. So mababa ng konti if yung kalsada is para lang sa mga tao at para sa mga maliliit na sasakyan at walang dadaan ng mga malalaking truck, no? Malaking truck even if it is for emergency purposes, no? So, for this rule, ang sinasabi dito na truck is defined as any vehicle exceeding 2.5 meters in height. So, yung height ng vehicle, which is above 2.7 meters, so that is now considered as truck, no? Truck with sa ito na provisions. Kaya, yung height na 4.8 meters, if truck na yung dadaan, is sufficient enough, no, para hindi masagi yung ating wire. Okay. So vertical clearances of open supply conductors above 750 shall be increased above the applicable value from the previous clearances. So if your voltage is above 750, so dapat mataas siya ng konti, no? Siguro depending on the practice, no? But it should not be below the 4.8 meters para sa truck na sa mga daanan na may dadaan na truck or 2.7 meters for light pedestrian. So reductions in horizontal clearances permitted by this rule shall be in accordance with accepted good practice for the given local conditions during the term of emergency. So you say horizontal clearance. So, kunyari, yung wire nyo is dadaan sa gilid ng isang building. So, yung clearance nun is depending on the good practice, no? Yung mga accepted na practice ng ating mga distribution utility, no? So, the usual is not less than 300 mm or 2 feet. So, pwede kang mag-increase from that increment, no? Depending on the voltage. So supply and communication cables may be laid directly on grade if they are guarded or otherwise located so that they do not unduly obstruct pedestrian or vehicular traffic and are appropriately marked. So ibig sabihin nito, pwede na yung mismong ating mga wires or conductors ay nasa surface ng road or nasa pedestrian side ng road as long as they are properly guarded. Tapos they are located, no, on part of the road na hindi siya pwedeng maka-obstruct sa sa mga pedestrian, sa mga taong daraan, or sa mga daraan ng mga sasakyan. Tapos may marking, no, to indicate that a part of the road may nadaan doon na supply or communication cable. So no clearance is specified for areas where access is limited to qualified personnel only. So if a certain area, kunyari nasa loob ng isang substation, tapos may mga overhead na mga wires doon, so there is no clearance, no, specified dito sa role na to, as long as the access to that location is limited only to qualified personnel. So measurement of clearance and spacing. So paano natin i-measure yung clearance, paano i-measure yung spacing. So all clearances shall be measured from surface to surface. Ibig sabihin yan, if for instance, so ito yung surface ng road mo, ito yung wire. So yung surface ng wire dito, tapos yung surface ng road, so yan yung ibig sabihin ng clearance. That is 4.8 meters, no? Yung kanina, if that is heavy traffic o may daraan na truck. So surface to surface. When it comes to spacing naman, so spacing is usually applicable to conductors to conductors. So kunyari may dalawa kang conductors. So the measurement for spacing is center to center. So center ng conductors. So that is the spacing. Ito naman is the clearance. Okay. So metallic hardware electrically connected to supply line conductors and communication equipment connected to communication line conductors shall be considered as part of the line conductors. So kunyari merong mga nakalagay doon na mga metal sheet or mga additional insulation sa ating conductors or sa ating communication equipment. So they are considered still part of the conductor itself. So if we are going to measure surface to surface, dito may nakalagay dito na box tapos nakalagay siya sa wire. So yung ating clearance will be from the surface of this box. Kasi ito yung conductor natin tapos may box dyan. So from the surface of this box papunta doon sa surface ng road. Yan. So kasi kapag if we do not consider this box as part of the conductor, so ang ating measurement is from the surface of the conductor to the surface of the road, no? In which hindi na natin na kasama yung height, no? Yung height ng box. So metallic bases of potheads, such as resistors and similar devices shall be considered as part of the supporting structure. So as part of the supporting structure, kunyari sa poste, no? Okay. So meron tayo ditong insulator. So if I'm going to measure the clearance for this one, ito yung road natin. So dapat dito tayo sa lower surface. Tapos vertical dito sa ating road, sa surface ng ating road. So hindi pwede na ang i-consider natin is itong pinakamataas na part ng cross arm. Hindi pwede yan. Dapat sa lowest point natin i-consider. Okay, so rounding of calculation results. So the number of decimal places on the computed value will depend on the table in this article. So may table na sa article na to, that is a table 3.4.2 A, B, at C. So the usual decimal places sa mga table na yon. So at the end of the discussion, i-discuss ko din yung table. So that is on 0.1 increment or 1 decimal places. So if in case na we are going to compute, no, the clearance or the spacing, so dapat yung ating value na ibibigay is 1 decimal place. Okay. So when loading for clearances, no, where a cable is attached to a messenger, a specified load shall be applied to both the cable and the messenger. So in determining the wind loads on a conductor or cable, the area shall be a smooth cylinder whose outside diameter is the same of the conductor or the cable, and the force coefficient is assumed as 1. So the standing of the conductor shall be considered also in calculating the area. Reduction of loading is not allowed unless testing or a qualified engineering study justifies the reduction. So ano ibig sabihin nito? If, for example, we have two supporting structure, no? Tabladin din tayo dito. Then, meron tayong isang line dito, no? Magsasag yan. So, ang sag natin, ito yung sag, no? So, the sag will depend on the weight of the cable. Tapos, yung mismong wind loading, no? Yung force which is applied by the wind itself. Tapos, yung length at yung laki ng wire. So, the force coefficient is ina-assume dito as 1. No? So, ang pagbabasehan kasi natin sa acting clearance is the lowest point of the cable. No? So, yung pinaka lowest point ng sag to the surface of the road. Kaya mahalaga, in case if you are going to design, no? To design the installation of this distribution line, so mahalaga na i-consider yung sag, no? Kunyari the distance for this one is 30 meters, no? So yung wire mo din is magsasag yan, no? So you must also consider if this sag, kunyari heavy traffic to, so road, tapos ito is dadaan siya dyan, so you must consider if this is not less than 4.8 meters. Okay? So kaya mahalaga na alam natin yung sag niya, no? Kasi yung sag niya yung mag-determine if ano yung ating lowest point dito. Kasi nangyari din yan in the computation, they will also assume na kunyari walang sag dito. Yan. Meron kang length din dito. Tapos yung total length mo from the highest point to the surface of the road, minus mo dito, so yan yung magiging clearance mo, which is not below 4.8 meters. So vertical load components tayo. So these are the components, no, ng ating gagamitin in order to design for the sag, no, para makuha yung sag ng ating cable, no. So vertical, so yung vertical load component, so balikan natin yung drawing natin kanina. So yung vertical load component, ito yung load na pababa. Yan. So, ito yung nagpo-push sa ating wire to move downward or para magkaroon siya ng sag. No? So, the vertical load component of a wire, conductor, or messenger shall be its own weight. No? Yung kanyang bigat. So, as the wire increases in its size, tataas or magi-increase din yun ang kanyang weight. Plus the weight of the conductors, spacers, and the equipment that it supports. So lahat ng component na nasa ating linya, so all of the weight of that one will be considered as part of the vertical load. For the horizontal load shall be the wind pressure, which is 430 Pascal, no? At right angles to the direction of the line using the projected area of the conductor, messenger, or the conductor spacers equipment that it support. So ito, constant of 430 Pascal, no, for the wind pressure. So the total load on each wire, conductor, and messenger shall be the resultant of the vertical and the horizontal load component computed at plus 10 degrees, no? So at every increase of 10 degrees, mag-a-add ng 0.73 Newton meter. So, ano naman sa RMA exam naman is hindi naman kayo mag-compute ng ng tawag doon ng load o ng sag. Importante lang is alam nyo kung what are the constant, no? Ilan yung wing pressure, ilan yung i-add na constant per 10 degrees Celsius na increase. Okay, so the final sag shall include the effects of inelastic deformation due to initial and subsequent wind loading and long-term deformation, or what we call as creep. So supply cables. So for clearance purposes, supply cables including its prices and tops conforming to any of the following requirements are permitted to have lesser clearance than open conductors of the same voltage. So, ano yung mga conditions, no, in order for our supply cables to have mas mababa na clearance? So the first is the effective grounded, supported, or cable together conductor. So yung nakabundle na conductor which are effectively ground. So cables of any voltage having an effective grounded continuous metal sheet or shield. Cables designed to operate on a multi-grounded system at 22 kilovolts or less and having a semiconducting insulation shielding. Tapos, cable of any voltage covered with auxiliary semiconducting shield. Tapos, all cables that are insulated, no shielded cable, operate at no over 50 kilovolt per phase. Tapos, 2.9 kilovolt phase to ground. So, pwede na ito mas mababa sa required, which is 2.7 for light traffic and 4.8 meters for heavy traffic, no? Kapag ganito yung conditions ng cable. So covered conductors. So covered conductors shall be considered as bare conductors for all clearances. So meaning yung covered conductors are not considered exempted, no, on the minimum clearance. So dapat they will still follow the 4.8 requirements, no, or the 2.7 requirements. So ano yung pinagkaiba ng insulated at covered? So dati discuss natin yung insulated, yung mismong insulation is part of the cable. So mayroon siyang sheet, mayroon siyang shield, mayroon siyang insulating material, saka na yung conductor. Sa covered naman, that is a bare conductor na nilagyan na natin ng covering. Na yung covering is not integral or not part of the conductor itself. Okay. The neutral conductors. Neutral conductors that are effectively grounded throughout their length and associated with circuits 0 to 22 kilovolts to ground may have the same clearance as guides and messengers. All other neutral conductors of supply circuit shall have the same clearances as the phase conductors of the circuits with which they are associated. No? So a fiber optic cable that is entirely dielectric is one such that all dielectric is self-supporting cable. Okay. So ito sa fiber optic. No, so a fiber optic cable, so ang kanyang definition is as it must be supported on a messenger that is effectively grounded, no? So talagang importante for the installation of this type of cable is the grounding itself, no? So effectively grounded throughout its length and shall have the clearance from communication facilities as required for a neutral conductor meeting this rule, no? So ito yung nasa table mamaya. So cable defined as fiber optic supply that is entirely dielectric or supported on a messenger that an entirely dielectric shall have the same clearance from a communication facility as required for neutral conductor. So sa ganun pa rin na table. So may dalawang klase kasi ito. Yung isa is meron siyang supported on a messenger. Yung isa naman is supported on a messenger dielectric. Yung isa is only effectively ground. So iba-iba yung clearance na ito according to the cable. No? Then the fiber optic supply cable supported or within the messenger not meeting this rule shall have the same clearance for communication facilities required for such messengers. So ito na yung pinaka-kanya, 4.8 meters at 2.7. So fiber optic supply cable supported or within a conductor or containing a conductor or cable sheets within the fiber optic assembly shall have same clearance from communication facilities required for such conductor. So, pareho lang tong dalawa na clearance. Yung sa one is a single supply cable, no? Ito is an assembly of fiber optic cables. Okay, so fiber optic cables meeting this rule are considered to be communication cables when located for communication or in the communication phase. Then, fiber optic communication cable. So, cable defined as fiber optic communication shall have the same clearance from supply facilities as required for communication messenger. So, ito for communication cable. Yung isa kanina is fiber optic and supply cable. So, iba-iba yung kanyang gamit. So, this is for the dapat po natin, ito yung ating mga branch circuit, no? Or branch circuit conductor, no? Yung ating fiber optic supply cable, yan yung ating pinaka main conductor. So, kakaroon sa ng iba't ibang clearances depending on the purpose or yung gamit ng kanyang linya. Okay. Then we have alternating and direct current circuits. So, if our supply cable, no, are alternating tapos may direct current. So, this section or this article are applicable to both AC and DC circuits. For DC circuits, the clearance requirement shall be the same as those in AC circuits having the same voltage to ground. So, if our certain voltage, ganito siya, 5.6 meters, kahit DC pa yan or AC, the same siya na clearance. Okay. So, constant current circuits. So, clearances for constant current circuits such as series lighting circuit and shall be determined on the basis of the normal full load voltage. Tapos, pag nakuha yung normal full load voltage, so yan na yung magiging basis kung aling voltage class papapasama siya sa clearances, no? Kasi yung table mamaya, pagkita natin, is meron siyang voltage, no? Depending on the type of voltage. So, maintenance of clearances and spacing. So, the clearance and spacing required shall be maintained at the values and under conditions specified in this article, Article 3.4. So, the clearances of Article 3.4 are not intended to be maintained during the course or as a result of abnormal event, but not limited to actions of others or whether events that exist those described under this article. No? So, ano ibig sabihin nito? So, in normal conditions, the clearances must be always maintained. So, kung 4.8 meters sa umaga, 4.8 meters din yan sa gabi. So, that is considered as maintain natin yung ating clearance. But when it comes to weather conditions, kunyari may bagyo, no? May lindol. So, mga unforeseen events yan. So, talagang kunyari na tumba yung poste. So, you could not maintain, no, the clearance. So, that is beyond the scope of this article at ang niyan is magiging exemption. Exemption siya in maintaining the clearances and the spacing. Okay, so the utilities are responsible for correcting non-compliant conditions in accordance with this rule. So, yung mga proper spacing natin at clearances. So, the utility, no? Either sa inyo ba sa Meralco or anong distribution utility meron kayo, no? So, ang magko-correct niyan is yung mga company na yon, no? So, it is not the jurisdiction, no, or the work of or the responsibility of the local government unit or the DPWH. That is the responsibility of the utility company. Kunyari sa lugar nyo, so may poste doon na parang natabingi, so may yung mga wires noon is nagzag siya na that is below, no, the clearance. So, ang mag-aayos nun is the utility company, not DPWH, not the local government unit. Okay. So, clearances of supporting structures from other objects. So, when we say supporting structures, the cross arm, yung mga nakakabit sa cross arm, yung mga bolts, yung mismong poste. So, those are the supporting structure. Ito include arms, anchor guys, and the equipment itself. So, kasama yung mga braces, and they must follow the clearances from other objects. So, the clearances shall be measured between the nearest part of the objects concerned. No? So, kunyari, kanina yung example ko kanina, yan, sabi na tayong cross arm dito, tapos may nakalawit dito na insulator. So, yung clearance na sinasabi is hindi itong cross arm, hindi ito pinakaayos na cross arm, yung pinakamababa na object or the supporting structure, which is the insulator, full insulator. So, yan yung consider natin as the clearance. Okay, so from fire hydrants, no? So fire hydrants, no? So not less than 12 meters, no? So 12 meters, yan. So kunyari, poste natin to, cross arm, tapos meron tayong transformer dyan, no? So, yan dyan, transformer natin. So yung pinakamababa na point is the base of the transformer. Tapos sa baba, meron tayong fire hydrant. So the minimum clearance for that one, vertical clearance, is 12 meters. No? So where conditions do not permit a clearance of not less than 900 mm is allowed. So this is usually applicable, no, if yung sa malapit na part is hindi na talaga pwede na magkaroon ng 12 meters na clearance. But provided yung mismong paglalagyan ng equipment or the supporting structure itself is fire rated. Exception may be reduced by agreement with the local fire authority. So yan. So kaya magkakaroon tayo ng mga equipment which is fire rated, no, fireproofing rated, or di kaya magkaroon ng spacing, di tawag ng firewall, between the equipment and the fire. Okay. So from street, roads, and highways. So where there are curbs, supporting structures, support arms, anchor guys, or equipment attached thereto, up to 4.6 meter above the road surface shall be located at a sufficient distance from the street sides and the curbs to avoid contact by ordinary vehicles using and located the travelway. So 4.6 meters yung minimum clearance. This is for the supporting structures. For redirectional curb such as distance shall not be less than 150 mm, no? So yung horizontal niya dapat hindi bababa sa 150 mm. For paved or concrete swell type curbs, such facilities shall be located behind the curb. Where there are no curbs, so walang paliko, supporting structure shall be at sufficient distance to avoid contact by ordinary vehicles and located at a traveled way, or at the travel way. Yeah. So ito, kung may curb, so dapat maintain, no, yung 150 mm na horizontal distance at 4.6 meters, no, above. Kapag straight lang yung road, so dapat may sufficient distance lang na yung mismong mga sasakyan, kaya yung side mirror hindi siya babangga doon sa poste. No part of the vehicle will be in contact with the vehicle, no, or with the post, no. So yun yung ibig sabihin ng ng provision na to. So location of overhead utility installations on roads, streets consistent or highways with narrow right of way or urban streets with closely abutting improvements. So ito yung medyo mga iskinita na, are special cases that must be resolved in prevailing limitations and conditions. So dito na nangyari na mayroong meeting between the utility company and the LGU. So where a government authority exercising jurisdiction over the structural location has issued a permit for or otherwise approved specific locations for supporting structures, that permit or approval shall govern. So, meron kasing instances, kunyari yung building, so yung building is kunyari 10 floors, tapos may dadaan doon na linya. So, mangyayari, yung building na yun, sa isang side ng building, doon na lang ilalagay yung cross arm. Wala nang poste, no? Tapos meron lang certain distance clearance, horizontal clearance na para sa mga dadaan na supply lines, no? So that is in agreement with the local government unit, no, yung office of the building official and the distribution utility company. So pwede yan as long as meron silang agreement. Tapos nami-maintain din yung minimum clearance. Okay. So from railroad tracks, so railroad tracks naman, so the vertical clearance is 6.7 meters, no? So meron siyang mga special situation, kunyari not less than 3.6 meters from the nearest track or rail, no, yung kanyang horizontal distance, hindi siya lalagpas ng 3.6 meters. Pwede siya 2.13 meters, so where the supporting structure is not controlling obstruction, no? So matapos may sufficient space for driveway. So supports for overhead trolley contact conductors may be located as near their on the rail as conditions require. If they are very close, however, permanent screens. So ito na. So screens on cars will be necessary to protect the passenger. So exception naman 3, no, where necessary to provide safe operating conditions that require uninterrupted view of signals. So yung ating equipment ilalagay naman natin not to obstruct the viewing of the signal of our yung mag-ooperate ng tren, no? And at industrial sidings, a clearance of not less than 2.13 meters shall be permitted, provided mayroon siyang space left where cars can load or unload. Okay. So the clearance of Rule 3.2.3a may be reduced by agreement with the railroads. So itong lahat ng to, from this one, no, pwede siyang ma-reduce as long as yun pa rin, no, there is an agreement between the utility company and the railroad operator or the railroad company. Okay, so vertical clearance of wires, conductors, cables, equipment above ground, roadways, rails, or water surfaces. So the vertical clearance specified on this rule, no, shall apply under the following conductor temperature and load conditions, whichever produces the largest final sag. Okay. So 50 degrees Celsius, tapos walang no wind displacement. Pwede din the maximum temperature of the conductor operate if greater than 50 with no wind displacement. Yan yung i-consider as the sag. Exception, if the conductor and the loading conditions for trolley and electrified railroad or conductor shall be 15 degrees, no wind displacement, final sag or initial sag in cases where the facility is maintained approximately at initial sag. So may note dito that the phase and neutral conductors of supply line are normally considered separately when determining the sag. So magkaiba yung phase, magkaiba din yung neutral. So if you are going to design for the phase conductors, so iba yung computation for sag for the phase conductors, iba din sa neutral kasi magkaiba ang kanilang temperature size. Okay. So clearance of wires, conductors, cables, and support arms mounted on supporting structures. So clearance to wires, conductors, and cable. So the vertical clearance of wires, conductors, and cables above ground in generally accessible places, roadways, rail, water surfaces shall not be less than the values shown on table. So, ito na yung table na sasabi ko. No, 3.4.3.2a. Pagkita natin yan mamaya. So, clearance of unguarded, rigid, energized parts of the equipment. So, yung mga part ng equipment na hindi siya guarded, so it is exposed, no? So, pwedeng magkaroon ng contact. So, ang gagamitin na table dito is the table 3.4.32b. Kapag looping naman, so may mga deep loop sa termination, ang gagamitin is 3.4.32a. Okay, so clearance to support arms which handles and equipment cases. So same na gagamitin is 3.4.32b na table. Kasama na doon yung lahat ng mga cases na equipment. Pero hindi kasama yung mga bracing, no? Yung mga lattice tower, the X braces between poles, and the pole type push braces. The street and area lighting. So the vertical clearance for street and area lighting luminaires shall be not less than shown in table 3.4.32b. So for this purpose, the grounded luminaire cases and brackets shall be considered as effectively ground. So the rule does not apply to post-top mounted luminaires. So yung mga luminaires na sa taas which are grounded, no? Insulators as listed in this code should be inserted at least 2.45 meters from the ground in metallic suspension ropes or chain supporting lighting units of series circuit. So meron tayong nakalagay na insulation every 2.45 meters for our area and street lighting. So additional clearances for wires, conductors, cables, and unguarded rigid parts of equipment. So greater clearances than specified by 3.4.2 shall be provided where required by this rule. No? So if it is recommended to go beyond what is given on this table, no? Yung mga table for clearances. So voltage exceeding 22,000 kilovolts. Yung kanina lahat na yun that is below 22,000 kilovolts. So for voltages 22 and 470 kilovolts, the clearance specified on this rule, so table na ito, shall be increased at the rate of 10 mm per kilovolts. Importante ito to 10 mm per exceed of 22 kilovolts. Kunyari 23. So yung voltage mo o yung measurement mo is dadagdagan mo na ng 10 mm. That is 10 mm per kilovolt na lalagpas sa 22 kilovolts. So 23. So meron kang excess na 1 kilovolt, no? So yung measurement is dadagdagan mo ng 10 mm, no? For voltages exceeding 470 kilovolt, the clearance shall be determined by the method given, no? Yung pag-compute ng mga sag. Yun. So ito yung gagamitin, no? So kukunin yung wind pressure, the diameter, the loading, yung weight ng cable, lahat ng mga support, no? All clearances for lines over 50 kV shall be based at the maximum operating voltage. So for voltages exceeding 98 kV AC to ground, so this is phase to ground na voltage for AC circuit, or 139 kV DC to ground, clearance less than those required above are permitted for system with known maximum switching surge factors. Okay, so for voltages exceeding 50 kV, the additional clearance specified on the table shall be increased by 3% for each 300 meters in excess of 100 meters above the mean sea level. So if this is now na dadaan na sa body of water, no, yung ating mga cable. So 3% for each 300 mm in excess of 1,000 300 meters in excess of 1,000 meters yung idadagdag natin, no? So that is kunyari 10 meters. So 3% of 10 meters is diba? 30 cm. So, dalagdagan mo ng 30 cm yung measurement mo, yung clearance mo for every 300 meters na excess. No? For voltages exceeding 98 kilovolts AC to ground, either the clearance shall be increased or the electric field or the effects of thereof shall be reduced by other means. No? So this is if sobrang taas na ng voltage 98 kilovolts, no? Phase to ground. So either ang gagamitin natin is yung ating conductor is may cover na, that is to decrease no the field effect, no, the electric field effect, or tataasan talaga natin yung ating yung ating clearance. So the acceptable is 5 milliamperes, no? 5 milliamperes. So kunyari pag may dadaan doon na truck, yung ma-feel niya na current is below, no? Equal or below 5 milliamperes. If lalagpas dyan, then you must now increase the vertical clearance or cover the conductor, depending on which is much applicable. Kasi kapag kinover natin ng conductor, madadagdagan niya ng sag. Aside from having the electrostatic effect, ang magiging problema mo naman ngayon is baka sobrang baba na ng conductor, pwede nang matamaan ng mga truck. Okay? Yan. So this is now the table sinasabi ko kanina, no? So makakuha niyo ng copy nito when this whole presentation will be printed, no, or will be converted into PDF, no? So we have here the nature of the conductors, and this is table 3.43.2a, the vertical clearance of wires, conductors, and cable above ground. No? So yung ground ito is yung sa lupa, roadways, fields, or water surfaces. So this is insulated communication conductors and messengers. So they are effectively grounded. So ito yung mga nakasuntaan na rules. So yung mga all about communication cable na discuss natin kanina. Ang rating is 0 to 300 volts. So ito yung susundin na mga clearances. So these are all in meters. So vertical clearance. So track rails or railroads, so sa mga mga release ng train, so 7.2 meters. Sa mga normal na road which is subject to heavy traffic, so 4.7 meters. Driveways and parking lot, so 4.7 meters. Then other areas traversed by vehicles such as cultivated grazing, yung forest, yung mga provincial roads, so that is 4.7 meters yung minimum. So spaces and ways subject to pedestrian, light traffic lang, so 2.9 meters. The non-insulated communication conductors, so ito yung mga pair na mga supply conductors which is rated 0 to 750 volts. So if this is on roll kanina, no? So sa mga supply conductors natin. So sa mga tren and railroads, so 7.3 meters. So makikita nyo mas mataas ng konti kasi ito non-insulated. So sa mga roads naman 4.9. So driveways and other areas, no? So mga provincial road all 4.9. Kapag light traffic, no? Or pedestrian lang na mga dadaanan, so 3.6 meters. So supply cables over 750 volts, no? Or 0 to 750 volts ungrounded portion of the guy, or exposed to over 300 volts to 750. 7.5, 5.0, 5.0, 5.0, 3.8. So kung makikita nyo, yung para sa mga road, driveways, parking lots, equal lang yung kanyang clearance, no? So yung sa mga train talagang medyo mataas, no? Sa mga light traffic naman pinakamababa. Open supply conductors over 750 to 22 kilovolts. So ito na yung yung lalagpas na ng 750. So if dadaan siya sa isang train, 8.1 meters. All driveways, no, subject to heavy to moderate traffic, that is 5.6 meters. Kapag light traffic, 4.4 meters. So trolley and electrified railroad contact conductors and spans or wires. So this is for the mga wires ng ating mga 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 thread, no? Yung mga supply conductors for the railroad. So ang kanyang ang kanyang clearances, so 0 to 750 voltage to ground. So ito 6.7 kung sa mismong rail track, 5.5 for roadways and parking lots. Tapos kaya blanco to kasi wala naman tayong railroad na dadaan sa sa commercial areas. No? Kunyari yung mismong area na dadaanan is commercial areas or mga industrial sites or mga forests, no? So, kaya dito nakalagay is blanco, no? Kasi it is not advisable to have a railroad, no, on the mga deepest forest or yung mismong railroad is dadaan sa sa commercial areas, no? Sa mga apartments ganun. Siguro sa mga ibang lugar, sa ibang mga bansa is may mga ganyang design, but for us hindi pa natin yan inada. For light traffic naman, so 4.9, 5.5, depending on the voltage. Okay. This is for the vertical clearance of wires and conductors above ground, roadways, or waterways. So continue na to, kasama to pa rin kanina. So water areas, no, that's not suitable for sailboating or where sailboating is prohibited. So 4.0. Pero pag merong mga pwedeng may dumaan na mga barko or mga maliliit na sasakyang pandagat, so iba na yung kaniyang clearance. So pataas na siya ng konti. So depending on less than 0.08 kilometer square the area, no, of the area na dadaanan ng ating wires. Where wires, conductors, or cables run along within the limits of highways or other roadways but do not overhang the roadway. Ito din. So, dadaan lang siya sa gilid, no, ng ating kalsada. Yung kanina kasi is may magko-cross sa ating kalsada. No? Ito, gilid lang. Ganun pa rin, meron pa rin siyang clearance, no, depending on the type of the wire and the voltage. Okay, and the last table, the vertical clearance of equipment, cases, support arms, platforms, braces, and unguarded, rigid, energized parts above ground, roadways, or water surfaces. So, if that is a non-metallic, tapos effectively grounded ang kanyang lahat ng support, pwede din unguarded, rigid, energized parts, at tapos yung kanyang voltage dito is to 750 volts. Ito naman is over 750 volts to 22 kilovolts. So, kunyari, road and streets and other areas subject to traffic. No? So, for this type of support or this type of equipment, so 4.6 meters. No? So, kapag unguarded, rigid, energized, so 4.9. So, that is 0 to 750 volts. Kapag lumagpas ng 750 volts to 22 kilovolts, that is 5.5 meters. So itong table na to, this is very important for clearances, no? Yung tatlong table, no? So it is not tawag doon, equal talagang i-memorize to, but as long as makukuha niyo yung idea, no? Kunyari yung road, driveways, and other areas na dadaanan ng mga sasakyan, that is always equals ng tatlo, no? 4.6. Pero pag light traffic, pinakamababa talaga yan, no? Tapos walang light traffic na doon, bababa sa 2 meters. So, kanina yung kanina yung sa A. So, ang pinakamababa is 2.9. Yung sa general is accepted pa ang 2.7 and as long as it is properly grounded tapos guarded din siya na conductor, no? Pero if that is insulated tapos meron siyang 0 to 300 volts na na voltage, no, of the neutral conductor, so that is 2.9. So walang bababa sa 2 meters na vertical clearance sa light traffic, no? So pedestrian or light traffic na mga roads. Yan yung pinakauna na observation. So if you know that one, tapos mayroong lumabas doon sa choices na bumaba sa 2 meters, then automatic that that choice, no, or yung option na yun is hindi na yun kasama sa sa i-consider nyo as a correct answer. So tatlo na yung pagpipilian, no? Tapos if when it comes to tawag doon sa mga railroad, no? So ang pinaka matataas talaga na clearance is doon sa mga train or mga railroad tracks, no? So usually they are in ano ba yun? Sa pinakauna. So they are in 7 meters, no? The range. So walang bababa sa 7 meters na clearance when it comes to railroad tracks, no? So yung mga conductors na dadaan sa railroad, walang bababa sa 7 meters. So ayun, meron na. So you have now the range, no? So yung mga naman, yung sa mga roads naman, no? So 4 to 6 meters ang kaniyang range, no? So hindi talaga kailangan i-memorize, to just be able to familiarize, no, yung mga values. Unless if yung gagawa ng exam is talagang may balak na ibagsak ang or ipasa lang ang 10% sa inyo. So mangyayari diyan, the choices will be, kunyari yung tamang sagot is 4.6, no? So mangyayari ang choices will be 4.4, 4.5, 4.6, 4.7. Yan. So kapag ganyan na yung question, so talagang expected na konti lang yung konti lang yung konti lang yung papasa sa exam. So, but so far hindi naman ganyan, no, ka lalapit ng mga choice. Okay? Yan. Okay, so now let's have a quiz. Pero before nyan, we will have a 15-minute break siguro, no? Break muna tayo for 15 minutes. Tapos papasa ko mamaya yung link, no, for our quiz, no? So sa quiz is yung na-discuss natin ngayon, tapos mostly of the questions is nandun sa table. Okay, so ganun pa rin the drill. After the quiz, the highest one will receive a prize. Tapos yung sa practice 5 at practice 6 nyo, so i-announce ko na lang sa sa GC, no? So, sino yung nakakuha ng pinaka mataas na mga grades doon. Okay? So we'll have a 15-minute break. So balik tayo ng 8:20. Okay? Okay. And 8:23 on the clock. We'll now start for our first question. Okay. And so for constant current circuit, how are clearances determined? So dahil kinukuha yung clearances for constant current circuit. So it is full load voltage condition, normal temperature condition, initial start condition, or creased voltage condition. Yan. So may 6 na kapag response. 8. Hello. Hindi ko makita dito kung ilan kayong nakapag-click sa ating link, but I hope madami-dami kayong nakapag-enter. Kasi hindi makakapasok kasi dahil sa internet connection, no? Katulad din nangyari sa akin kahapon, no? Naman ng panahon, so medyo humina yung ating internet connection. Okay, so 15 seconds more to go. Okay. Okay. Correct answer is and correct answer is full load voltage conditions. 44%. Yan ang tamang sagot. Tingnan natin yung points dito. Kung sino sa inyo yung may pinakamataas points. And okay. Okay. So, yan ba lahat? Apat. No? Kuha yung tamang. Okay. Next. So, according to the rules, what is the clearance required from street, roads, and highways for supporting structure in absence of curbs? Walang curbs. Ano yung requirement? Clearance. Okay. Up. Correct answer is letter A. No? At a sufficient distance. Sufficient distance. Okay. Tingin ko isa o dalawa yung nakuha. So, isa na yun, nakakuha ng tamang sagot. So, at a sufficient distance. No? So, kasi walang curve, kasi lang sinabi ko kanina. So, as long as hindi sasagi yung any part ng vehicle, so sa side ng ating pole or ating supporting structure, so that is what we call as sufficient distance. Okay? Next. So what condition is the exception to the specified conductor temperature and loading conditions for trolley and electrified railroads? Condition. So windy condition, initial sag condition, short circuit condition, overloaded condition. Okay. Ayan. Correct answer is Letter B, initial sub condition. Okay? So, marami-rami nakakuha ng tamang sagot. Natin yung leaderboard natin. Okay? Hindi pa makahabol itong iba na nasa baba. So, fourth question pa lang tayo. So, according to Rule 3.4.32a, when are specified vertical clearances applicable? Ito yung all about temperature, no? Ano yung binanggit doon na temperature? So, is it 30 degrees Celsius, 50, 70, or 90? Okay, the correct answer is letter B. Yan. So, dami-dami nakakuha ng tamang sagot. 50 degrees Celsius with no wind displacement. Una nga dito is si Sir Noel Haribelo. So, yung pangalawa is si Sir Rinaldo. Okay, next. So what additional clearances are required for voltages exceeding 22 kilovolts? To Rule 3.34a. Okay. Ilang mm yun per kilovolt? Okay, so the correct answer is Sir D. Yan. Letter D yung tamang sagot. 10 mm per kilovolt. So dito. Yan. So nagbago na yung 1. Okay, next. What is the purpose of rounding calculation results as mentioned on the article? So, bakit kailangan i-round? Yan. Okay, so the correct answer is letter A, improve accuracy. Tingnan natin if mababago ba yung ating leaderboard. Ganun pa rin, no? Isa yung nakuha ng tamang sagot. Next. When are the clearances for alternating and direct currents determined? Siya determined for the clearances. Okay. Correct answer is letter B. So, normal full voltage condition. Dami-dami yung nakuha ng tamang sagot. Okay. Next. In the context of fiber optic cables, what clearance is required from communication facilities for cables that are entirely dielectric? Okay. So, the correct answer is letter A. Same as the neutral conductor. Sadly, wala nakakuha. Next. According to the rules, what clearance is required from fire hydrants for supporting structural support arms, anchor guys, and there too. So for fire hydrants, ito yung requirement for the clearance. Okay? So the correct answer is letter A. So not less than 12 meters. Kahati, no? Yung nag-answer yung nakakuha ng tamang sagot. Yan. Okay. Muna pa rin si Rinaldo. Next. So question number 10 to. So what is the primary consideration when determining the vertical clearance of unguarded, rigid, and just parts such as path heads and transformer bushings? So wind pressure, drip loop length, variation in sag, conductor temperature. Dyan yung i-consider. Okay, so the correct answer is letter D, no? Conductor temperature. Yan natin. Yan. Ganun pa rin yung ating top 1 to top 3, no? Okay, next. Habol pa tong iba, no? Question 10 lang tayo. So question number 11, what type of supply cables are permitted lesser clearance than open conductors of the same voltage for clearance purposes? So conductors, covered conductors. So itong B dito to, no, sa effective grounded conductors or cable together conductor, fiber optic or neutral conductor. Okay. The correct answer is letter B. Yan. Effective grounded supported or cabled together conductors. Okay. Pag natin may nabago ba yun? Nakahabol na po yung si Sir Noel. Yan. Nabago na yung ating top 1 to top 3. Okay, next. What is the condition under which the specified vertical clearance for wires, conductors, cables, and equipment above ground, roadways, railways, or water surfaces apply? So, alin dyan yung pwede mo i-consider yung mga clearances in condition? Okay. So the correct answer is letter A, no? So no wind displacement. Natin yung nakakuha ng tamang sagot. Yun. So nagbago na yung ano, top 1. May bago tayong top 1, no? Okay. So medyo madikit-dikit yung laban natin ngayong gabi. Okay, next question. For wind loading calculation, what shape is assumed for the area of the conductor or cable? So ano ang shape? Square, rectangle, circular, or elliptical? Okay, the correct answer is letter C, no? Circular. Okay, pwede nyo pakuha ng tamang sagot. And, okay, next. According to the rules, how are metallic bases of potheads, such as resistor and similar devices, considered in relation to supporting structures? How they are considered? Are they considered as independent structures, separate from line conductors, part of the supporting structure, or excluded from clearances? Okay, so the correct answer is letter letter C, no? Part of the supporting structures. Tingnan natin ang ating leaderboard. And, okay. So, itong top 1 at top 2, no? So, 1,000 points na yung pagitan. Okay? So, next question. What is the minimum vertical clearance required for open supply conductors of 0 to 750 above areas where trucks are expected during emergency installations? This is for emergency installation. So, alin dito? Is it 2.7, 4.8, 5.8, or 6.7? Okay? So the correct answer is letter B, no? 4.8 meters. So for emergency purposes yun, 4.8 meters. Yan, no? So, tiniko na po ngayon yung ating number 1, no? Okay, next. What is the minimum vertical clearance required for insulated communication conductors and cables over roads according to table 3.4.32a? Insulated communication cables. So, din dyan, 4.7, 5.0, 5.6, or 6.1 meters. So, dito, nakaano to siya, nakalagay to sa table. Okay, the correct answer is letter A, 4.7 meters. Natin pag nagbago na ba yung ating top 1. So, wala pa rin, no? Pwede pang makahabol to si top 2. Okay, next. For open supply conductors over 750 to 25 kV, so that is more than 750 to 25 kilovolts, what is required vertical clearance above roads as per table 3.4.3.2a? 6.7, 6.1, 4.9, or 5.6? Okay, so the correct answer is letter. Wala pa lang letter yung choices. 6.7 meters. 6.1 ba? 6.1 meters. Okay, so natin nakakuha ng tamang sagot. Okay, next. What is the specified vertical clearance for ungrounded portions of supply cables exposed 750 to 24 kV above driveways according to the table? Din dito. Okay, so the correct answer is 5.6 meters. Okay, so ganun pa rin, no? Okay, next. So, two questions pa siguro yun. So, in area subject to truck traffic, what is the required vertical clearance for neutral conductors exposed to 750 to 22 kilovolts as per the table? Okay, so the correct answer is letter, so 5.6 meters. Tingnan natin. Hindi nakakuha ng tamang sagot. Yeah. So sa top, no, wala pong nabago sa score. So means wala dito yung nakakuha ng tamang sagot. Okay, next question. So this will be the final question. What is the required vertical clearance for non-metallic or effectively grounded support arms, switch handles, and platforms and braces associated with circuits over 750 to 22 kV above roads according to table 3.4.3.2b? So I hope may screenshot kayo ng sa table, no? So hanapin niyo lang yung column for 750 over 750 to 22 kV sa table B natin. Tapos yun yung kanyang column, tapos yung row na may roads. Alin yung ma-align doon na meters, so yun yung sagot sa question na to. So 30 seconds more. Okay, so the correct answer is, so not letter, but 5.5 meters. So siguro isa lang nakakuha ng tamang sagot natin. Nabago ba yung question? Yan. We have now our top 3, no? Top 3 na scorers natin. Okay, so for our top third placer is si Sir Rinaldo. For our top 2 is si Sir Noel Haribilio. And for our winner for today's quiz is si Sir Nico, no? With a score of 8,948. So same drill pa rin po, Sir Nico. So kindly PM to me your GCash number. For those who are not lucky enough, no, hindi pinalad na maging winner for tonight, so maybe you are the winner dun sa ating practice test, no? Okay, so may question po ba? Yung question, clarification, our discussion this evening. So medyo marami-rami yung mga measurements, no, natin, because this evening we are discussing about clearances, no? Okay? Yan, so bigay na agad ng number si Sir Nico. Okay, sir, just wait for the so just wait for the tawag doon, the yung confirmation ng GCash, okay? So I believe that will be all for this evening. So medyo may congrats